Hello, welcome back to the PoddiMouths podcast. I am Peyton Cubic, and this is where my dad and his friend John talk about random stuff in life or the things they found on the internet. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did. Here they are now.
Run up quick before we go.
No, I already went.
Oh.
I'm complaining because my coffee got cold.
As soon as he starts saying "folks," I know that we're rolling.
Cold coffee.
You never say "folks"
You know,
when it's just the two of us. Hey, folks.
It's true. It's true. You
Yeah.
know, cold brew coffee. Well, obviously it's made differently, but
Yeah.
cold brew coffee is much better than cold coffee.
Yes, it is.
But
Although I know some people that drink cold brew cold.
Well, yeah, that's how you're supposed to drink cold brew.
Well, then how come it's different than cold?
That's a great question.
Then
And the answer is, John,
because it's deteriorated.
No, it's actually made differently. So cold brew is actually brewed cold. It's never brewed hot.
Yes.
Whereas cold coffee is brewed hot and then cools down.
Coffee freaks.
Do I have to explain everything to you, John?
Don't want to know. See, this is when I'll ask a question just to be polite, because I don't give a rat's ass about any
we
of
know
that.
you're not
I'm
a
sorry.
polite person.
Well, some people don't. Maybe we have some new listeners and viewers.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the best joke you've said all day.
I'm
All
good at
day.
jokes.
You are good at jokes. Speaking of jokes,
Yes.
I did a presentation this week, or I had a presentation that I had to do this week, and I was told not to do any of my dad jokes. And it was really hard because the one that just popped to mind, especially with the audience that was in the room, was, what do you call a crabby cow?
What?
Moody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you should have gotten that one. That one's that's the crux, I guess, of a bad joke. Is it's really a bad joke, but it's a good joke because it's so bad. And it's also very obvious. And I think that's where people laugh. They're not necessarily laughing at the joke. They're laughing at themselves for not getting to the punchline on their own.
You are getting very philosophical here. And this is early in the podcast.
I have been reading a lot of Confucius.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Any that you'd like to share?
Not that I'd like to share at this point.
If you want to know, read it yourself.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Actually, there is one that there's some that are made up that people put Confucius says, but those are not real. The one that I live by,
yes,
and the one that I've been trying to teach Peyton, I know I've said it on the podcast before, but I think since we're talking about it, it's okay to say it again.
Okay.
Is if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That is Confucius, folks.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. He was.
Now my wife is texting me. Why is my wife texting me?
I don't
You're
know.
supposed to be at work.
No, this is good. Tell us what she said.
She said,
We'll tell you how to reply.
hey, so I have a class from 12 to 1:30.
Yep.
Do you want me to drop off Peyton, or do you want to come get her? I think working until 12 is good.
Here's what you say. Yes. She'll be totally
John
confused. No.
Said,
Not John. Just go.
John said
yes.
that I should just say yes.
And
So,
then John said hi. ...
Yes.
Yes. And then say, and John says hi. Do that.
And
It's the
John
only thing that will keep me out of trouble.
says hi.
If
There
she
we go.
says anything in response, remember, we try to keep it clean on PoddiMouths.
Oh, yeah, we try. We fail, but
Yeah.
we try. But failing,
Try that hard.
that's another, if
boy.
you...
Is this Confucius again?
No, this one, I don't remember. Now I've lost it. I had it. It was in there. I read it today.
Failing is
just one
worse
step
than
closer.
sailing.
No. Failing is just one step to learning.
Okay.
Something like that.
No, that sounded.
I'm going to have to look it up.
We need to write that down because that.
Well, I have it
someday.
written down.
Oh, do
Someone already wrote it down.
Okay.
I'm just reading it.
Are they leaving notes on your desk?
Well, if you consider your phone a desk, yeah.
I do.
Well, I mean, it could.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah, you do. You do all the time.
It's a very small desk.
Now you're going to make me look it all up. Hold on.
I don't need to know, but our
Yes, you
listeners
do.
may.
The listeners definitely do.
Yeah. And I always break out the listeners and the viewers. I think it's fair to just call everybody a listener. If you're watching
It is.
and you have the volume down, we have problems.
Yes.
And honestly, so do you. So
Ooh, nice and
we have
relaxing.
background music.
Yeah.
Great. I just wet my pants.
You should have.
It was so relaxing. So I didn't.
Never sleep
just kidding.
on the idea that visits you daily. That will be the one to change your life. That one's a good one.
Yep.
You'll never fix your future if you keep negotiating with your past.
Are these all Confucius?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I'm looking for the confusion one. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, hold on. Maybe I sent it to. I think I might have sent it to
just like
Peyton
rambling
today.
them off. There once was a man from Lamass.
There you go. There
you just start doing.
you go.
I just wanted to look up a bunch of limericks.
This is really annoying. Okay, hold on.
Okay, here we go.
Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lutsu. Lutsu.
Is that like
Number
Lhasa
two?
Apso?
It's
Spelled
never
the same
too
way?
late to be what you might have been. By George Eliot.
That seems more. I think the tenses are messed up there by George.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think George.
Well, most likely.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the best art and some of the best writing. I mean, look at Ernest Hemingway.
Okay. I'm looking.
No, go look at him. I'm just. I'm
looking inside my eyes.
I see.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. But I mean, most of his work, he was just, drunk as all get out. In fact, there's a drink named after a book. We've talked about this one on the podcast, folks. What haven't we talked about on this podcast? This happens when you're 7 years in.
Yes.
Death in the Afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about. You remember that?
Sure.
It's one of my favorites.
Yep.
You don't remember it at all.
I kind of do.
Okay. What's in it, John?
It is. I do remember. Is this the one with the green crap?
Absinthe.
Absinthe. Yeah.
Yep.
Absinthe. See?
Yeah.
I did remember absinthe and Diet Coke.
No.
I don't know what else is in it.
You were right about the bubbles, but wrong about the drink.
Okay.
It was absinthe and champagne.
And champagne.
It's a shot of it's a shot of absinthe in a flute, and then topped off with champagne.
So
it's
close.
Death in the Afternoon.
So close.
And folks, having tried that,
yeah.
I can confirm you are going to die in the afternoon.
Did you start drinking it in the morning?
No.
Oh.
I did it. It's 12:01.
Okay.
It was afternoon.
I finished my first Bloody Mary, and then I had a death in the afternoon.
And then I did Death in the Afternoon. Yeah. I mean, see, you know me, John.
I sort of do.
That's why we have a podcast together.
That's why.
You know me so well.
Well, and the money.
And, well, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to double your salary.
Yes. I'll take it.
I know you will, and you're going to love every minute of it.
Yes, I absolutely.
So you had an interesting morning. We started a little bit late this morning.
Goodness, yes. So this is a typical Saturday morning. It's and I've told you this before. Where I'm up early and I'd love to sleep in. No, not Saturday morning. I hesitate to say lead. I participate in a men's Bible study, and it's fun. We had 13 guys this morning for a little tiny.
Wow.
Yeah,
13 is my favorite
group that
number.
we started with. I know it's very lucky.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But we had a nice group, and it was fun just to blah, blah, blah. Got back home, and I don't think I noticed before I left. Went to the gym, talked to my mom on the phone, came back home, and noticed the mailbox is gone. Why
do people want your mailbox so much?
This is our fourth mailbox that we'll be adding in 2 years since we built this house.
So I'm curious.
Yes, me too.
The very first thing I thought of when you sent a picture
mm-hmm.
was you must have some rowdy teenagers that live in the neighborhood. And then I realized you live in Florida. It's not rowdy teenager. It's drunk elderly people that are probably taking out your mailbox.
And I'm not sure they're elderly. My guess would be, this is just my guess, not meaning to stereotype, testosterone-laden 30-year-olds who are probably hammered. And this is, and I'll see if I don't know if you can see. Hold on, it'll get
There.
better.
Yep.
So you can kind of see it. That pad in the middle, that's the concrete. And if you see the little post sticking out of it, that means my concrete worked.
And their car didn't.
Yeah, and down the road just a little bit, you can see the top of the mailbox. And this part right, if I can do it,
Right there. Yep.
is the inside wheel well of whatever vehicle hit the mailbox.
So you got a little bit of karma there, because I'm sure if it was someone who was aiming for mailboxes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know.
So you still had the mailbox. That's good.
And I just checked for mail and there's nothing in it. So.
Oh, good. That's good. It's down the street even further.
Yes, it is. They call that special delivery. Yeah. Thank you. I don't have a rim shot.
I think you probably surprised someone, because I'm sure like my mailbox is breakaway.
Oh,
because if someone hits it, it's still going to do damage, but they're going to take the whole thing, and it's not going to. That caused a lot of damage. So whoever hit it hard, and they're going to have to get something repaired. So it's kind of like if they did it on purpose.
Yes.
You know what? There you go. Karma, instant karma, bitch. And I love karma. Karma is one of my favorite things.
Well,
the other side of that, though,
yes,
is I feel really bad if someone just was, kind of not paying attention and just whacked it, and now they have car damage.
I don't feel bad at all. And
I don't really either.
Because
I was just trying to get it.
I understand. The speed limit is 40 miles an hour in front of our house. I wish it were 30, but there's a stop sign a block and a half away. So they got to slow down if they're on that side of the road. They have to slow down because the stop sign's coming up. We see people regularly that are, and I'm guessing anecdotally, they're doing 65 miles an hour around that corner. We've had the trash bins out into the yard. So they've done that. And I just can't explain it. There were dual wheels that went across. Last time we had to replace it across the driveway, and the mailbox was just trashed. Somebody pulling a trailer or something. I don't know. Apparently didn't think that. We should move. It's not in the road.
You think you should put a camera out so you can actually see it and see if it's
good question. I have one not only on the doorbell, which is blocked by one of the posts in the overhang by the front door. However, but I have one on the corner of the garage. The trouble is, if I widen the view, these are battery operated cameras.
Yeah, it's going to run down the battery.
It does so like in 2 days, because if it records every car that drives by, it's kind of a busy street. And so
you can extend the range, but are they Ring cameras or are they different?
These are Google.
Okay. I don't know anything about the Google, but my Ring camera, I can actually draw. So if I had my Ring camera on your garage.
Same. I know what you're going to say. You can draw the pattern of the area you want it to. But the problem is, then you have to, if you're going to do that, you're out into the street again. And every car that goes by this close to the mailbox is going to turn the camera on.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I've thought it and tried it on several occasions. And some people say, well, then hardwire it. The door camera is hardwired. So I could, but I mean, there's really a benefit to this, because I don't have to worry about somebody stealing it. It's just a really strong magnet that holds it there onto the mounting plate. And when I pull it off, it will not connect anymore. It has to be on the mounting plate. So,
gotcha.
So it's safe enough. We have them all around the house, and it's not. I don't need to freak out about it. But when we leave, I'll turn it on. So this was while we were home last night at some point. And
gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that surprises me is that you didn't hear it. I mean, if there was that much force to just rip it right out of the concrete.
Yeah. It's just that
tear something off a car.
The thing, the post was probably only about like this. So it was steel, but it was not very big around and thick. So it would be like a whack and then done. But it did do, as we saw, some damage to whatever vehicle it was. So whatever. And
it also surprises me that people aren't willing to, unless they were doing it on purpose, or they were majorly drunk.
I don't think I don't think on purpose. I think drunk is more likely. I think at 2:30 in the morning after you just left the bar, probably not a good time to knock on my door.
Probably.
Yeah.
But you could leave a note.
You could leave a note. You're right about that. Or get in
front
of
the mailbox.
The doorbell. Get in front of the doorbell camera and go, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm hammered and I'll call you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I think it's one of your friends. They're just playing a joke on you.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I do have friends like that.
Yeah, I know.
Saying.
I mean,
present company.
There's story. Well, yeah, I don't. I'm a rule follower. That's why I love karma so much. I just know, and I complain about it all the time, and so does Jen. We complain about being rule followers all the time because we tend to be those type of people. Like, if you tell us to do certainly, did we talk about Peyton's orchestra concert last week?
I don't think so.
I don't think we did. So Peyton had an orchestra concert last Friday. No, it was this week. I'm sorry. It was on Wednesday.
Okay.
Duh.
So we couldn't have.
No, we couldn't have. We had to get her dress blacks, and they were very specific on what she had to wear. And she had to wear a dress, and the dress couldn't come above the middle of her calf.
Okay.
So calf length, black dress, long sleeves, all that stuff. We are rule followers. We got her the exact dress that she was supposed to wear for this concert.
And other kids
even though she was on. No, I mean you've got chicks that are super blonde, very light skinned chicks that literally shine when they're on stage under the stage lights, wearing a tube top and a short skirt, mini skirt tight, and you're like. And then you got other kids that are girls wearing pants, which I don't think that's a big deal, but they're still not following the directions. It just, everyone was wearing black, so that's good, but there was no consistency on the outfits whatsoever. And I mean, that's just an example of how we would try to follow the rules and not just say, well, it's black, it's whatever you want.
We're the same.
There are a lot of instances where this happens in our neighborhood all the time. I just drove through the neighborhood, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Just drove through the neighborhood, and we've got people that are parking their cars out on the street and just leaving them there. I mean, they've been there for days and weeks.
Oh, wow.
And we have a covenant in the HOA that says you can't park a car in the same spot for more than 24 hours. Nobody follows it. We follow it. My car's parked in the street right now, but that's only because Jen is driving the Jeep, and I park behind the Jeep, so I have to pull my car out so she can pull the Jeep out. So when she parks the Jeep back in the garage, I'll pull my car back up into the driveway.
Yeah.
I won't leave it in the street all night, but other people do. And it just drives me absolutely bonkers. Not because they're parking in the street. There's plenty of room in the street.
They're just not following the rules.
They're just not following the rules. But I do know that at some point I will get karma payback on people that don't follow the rules. Now, I won't say that I'm perfect. There are plenty of rules that I break, but
do you want to give us some examples?
Well, the speed limit.
Oh,
if it's 70, I usually go 71. I mean,
wow. They will pull you over for one over
in Nashville.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sure there are little things that annoy people that rule, but I don't know. If there's a rule, I will do my best to follow.
I'm the same. And you talk about, it's funny because it brings back memories of Michael when he was in orchestra and then in suites, wind instrument, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember. Symphonic wind something. But he was, this is what you have to have, and this is what you wear. And we were, white shirts and percussion, black pants, dress shoes, off you go. No tennis shoes. And so we were just like you, because they're looking for consistency, they're looking for uniformity. So, and that makes sense to me in a band. And so anyhow, there were people though, as you described. And, and I want to be careful, tread carefully, because what if they can't afford it, or what if they,
sure.
Okay. So maybe there's that. But a lot of schools will, hey, let us know, and we'll see if there's
and the school is very good about that. They have a whole let's just call it a costuming department that has all of that stuff back there for people to borrow.
That's cool.
And they're very open about it.
That's very cool.
And yeah.
Nice.
So all that to say, there are little things that really, really bother me about that. But
so why were you driving through the neighborhood, knocking over mailboxes?
Exactly where I was. Yes, I was.
You
exactly.
prick. I knew it.
Know. We actually just replaced our mailbox when we put the house up for sale.
Oh.
And it's beautiful now. And it's one of those things. We had the landscaping done. We got a new mailbox, all that stuff. And that's when you look at all that stuff, you're like, well, maybe now we should stay. We're not staying. We actually put an offer on a house and it was accepted.
Oh,
so we're
with a contingency.
Now we just have to sell our house. And tomorrow we have another open house. So we'll see.
Okay.
We did drop the price a little bit. So we'll see if that works.
I still think, if you didn't happen to catch last week's episode, I recommended to Nick to raise the price because nobody does that.
Nobody does that. And Jen wanted to. She's like, okay, there's an example of a rule she's willing to break. Yeah. We didn't raise the price. We dropped it just enough to get it back up to the top of the listings.
Yeah.
I was driving around the neighborhood. We spoke about this last week where I went out and got a jump box for the truck because the battery died. Mm-hmm. Well, the battery died again. And
something's on.
Something's not.
How old is the truck?
It's not even a year old.
Okay. I'm guessing. In my experience, there's nothing that's left on.
There's nothing that's left
Glove
on.
box light, anything.
Nothing.
Hood.
Nothing.
You've tried. You've looked at everything.
So,
okay.
The last time, nothing came up. Nothing said anything was wrong. But this time when I jumped it, first of all, it took me several tries to get it to jump.
Okay.
So the battery was dead this time, not just a little dead.
Okay.
Like I couldn't even move the seat this time.
Oh,
which I could do last time. So it was,
it's a manual seat.
Rock hard. It's not a manual. Exactly. There was enough power. Wasn't enough power in my arm to move it back. But I got a notification and now it's gone. Hold on. I got a notification from the app, Nissan Connect Services, that said, your Frontier's engine may have an emission control system malfunction.
Okay.
And if your malfunction indicator light is blinking, you have a misfire or other component malfunction. If it doesn't, then there's something else wrong. Well, the engine light is on now. So I was driving the truck because I was driving just through. It could be the gas cap, but I don't know because I went to the gas station and filled it up and played with the gas cap.
Made sure it was clicked. Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
So
that's usually the first thing, but good.
Well, I did look it up, and there is something. I guess there's a solenoid. Solenoid? Is that how you?
Solenoid. SOL is the first three letters. Solenoid, yes.
Solenoid, yes, solenoid. And it's connected to the battery, and it goes to the starter. But it does have something to do with the emission control. Okay. So the first thing that came up in the internet is if that's happening and you're hearing a clicking, which I was when I had the jump box connected.
Yep.
I was hearing a clicking, which is why I looked it up. And it said there's something wrong with that solenoid. And that could be causing all of this. So right. I'll have to take it in and get it fixed. Yep. But that's hopefully, I don't know if that's under warranty. Do you know if that's a warranty issue?
It's not a year old.
I know. So
it's absolutely, right? Yes, it's absolutely. You have a bumper to bumper warranty for 36 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's probably what's it. I will have to go get it fixed when we have some time.
Well, if nothing else, should be able to plug into the module and it should tell them by code what the issue is. Now it's not guessing so much as it used to be.
No, it's not. Now I'm almost tempted, and that's why I wanted to bring it up today. I'm almost tempted, as I know they sell those readers that you can tie to your phone, and then it'll tell you what it is. I'm almost tempted to get that because the one thing I do like about the Frontier, we talked about the Jeep in this my Jeep, not the Jeep in general, but my Jeep, and how difficult it is to actually work on. I don't think I could because it's one giant computer.
Yep.
The Frontier, on the other hand, is still very basic. I mean, there are definitely some computer aspects to it, but I should be able to go in and fix it. I'm not going to because it's under warranty, but I was tempted for half a minute to go in and get one of those because why not? It's kind of fun, and I want to learn how to do stuff like that.
Well, and it's interesting you say that because Jeeps have oh gosh, I'm trying to think. It's certainly not a Jeep product, but it's an aftermarket that you can plug in and program all this stuff that you would probably want to have. And they have a list of, like 5 or 6 things that you want to do right away.
Yeah.
One is, excuse me, remembering that you turned off the auto stop when you get to a stoplight.
Yeah.
And so every time I get in the Jeep, I have to repress that if I want it not to shut off at a stoplight. So one thing you can program is memory of that it'll not
really?
default to that anymore. I'm like,
well, that's kind of cool.
Sweet. Yeah, that. And there are, 7 or 8 other things that are just, this is pretty cool. Thing runs like $300, but some of the things make a whole lot of sense. And you go, oh yeah, I would like that. Well, buy this and you can program it yourself. And I don't know what it does to the warranty. I don't, we're not repping any of that, but it's worth, maybe talking to a technician at the dealership.
Yeah.
So
why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Can't think of a single reason.
So that's
cool.
So the rest of today, like I said, we have an open house tomorrow. So the rest of the day after I pick up Peyton is just getting the house ready for the open house. And the truck sits outside and I feel so bad because right now it definitely needs to be cleaned, but it's got so much junk on it from the pollen and the trees around it and stuff that I have to clean out a drain in the backyard. We have I wouldn't even call it a French drain because we have a French drain, but this is a different one that the whole patio will flood if this drain is plugged.
Oh.
And the last couple of rains it has, and it happens every couple of years. So I have to go in and use the pressure washer in the drain to get it to flush out. Hopefully, hopefully there's nothing big or dead in there.
Yes, that.
So I'm going to take the pressure washer and clean the truck after that, and then take the truck to the car wash to get the rest of it clean. And,
okay.
because that, I don't have I don't have the patience to pull out all the polish or find all the polish.
Yeah.
And pull it out and actually do it at home. Plus, we don't have a very good driveway. That's the other part of this house that we put it. And you've seen it. I've shown it to you, but this is something strangely enough that excites me about this house. That we're hopefully moving into, I'm pretty sure we'll move into it, is that its driveway is completely flat.
Oh, nice.
My driveway right now is like this.
Yeah, it is quite an angle.
I have to talk about that too. Most people are just the people who are listening, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But John, you just saw you see my pinky?
Yeah, looks like it's messed up.
I can't straighten it.
Oh, well, you're not straining enough. I would have noticed otherwise.
No. Well, look at you can't really see it on the camera.
Not
you
too
can kind of
much.
see the difference.
Yeah. One's a little smaller. Did you cut one off?
Yeah, I should. I'll probably get this one. That's why I'm so scared to go get it checked out. They'll probably just cut it off.
Well,
no, I have this.
Yeah, they do that often. I have something on my arm. Well, let's just cut it off.
Yeah. There's something right here that from this knuckle to this knuckle, it's a hard band. It's almost, but it didn't start out like that. So I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway,
just woke up and it was like that?
No, it's been like that for about a year.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that was a complete.
I see you brushed right in to get that taken care of.
I know. I need to. Okay. That's a really good conversation. It's a frustration because you're used to, not for necessarily a good reason, but you're used to going to the doctor.
Oh,
so you have your doctor.
Yes,
you go to the doctor all the time.
Yep.
I had a general practitioner here in Nashville when we moved here, and I had her for a couple of years. Then she decided to move. Since then,
it wasn't because of you, was it?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Her husband was also a doctor, and he finished his residency, so they
awesome.
I think they went to a different state to practice.
Okay.
I have not found a GP or any general practicing medicine place, and we have moved around the city a bit too, so that makes it a little bit more difficult since then. So I don't have a general practitioner, and I need one because there are a few things that I need to get checked out, the pinky being one of them, and I have a couple other things that I want to get checked out because I am an aging, not old, but I am an aging individual.
I think we all are, FYI.
Yeah, exactly. And there's certain things an aging individual just needs to get done.
Totally agree.
It is so hard to find a general practitioner in this city. It's
you can find an internist. You don't. It doesn't have to be a GP.
No, I've looked at GPs. I've looked at internists. I've looked at nurse practitioners. I'd rather have I hate to say it, I'd rather have an MD, or an O. What do they call them? An
OB-GYN?
OD? No, an OD. So there's two different types
Sorry,
of medical
that was
doctor,
hilarious.
and one of them, not really. One of them is a little bit more. They are a physician, but they're trained a little bit more holistically.
Okay.
Not holistic medicine, but they're a lot less quick to jump to meds for everything. And I don't like medicine because I think there's a place for it. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely uses for it. Right. There are definitely uses for it. There are definitely reasons to take it. But if it whatever you have can be fixed or cured. Actually, my pinky's a good reason. That's this or the hernia that I had. Those are things that, you need medicine for and get taken care of. But if it's something that you can fix via diet, I'm all over that.
Sure.
Diet or exercise or whatever you need to do.
Maybe your pinky will be diet related.
It could be. You never know.
You need a boatload of radishes every day or something like that.
You got to go on a vegan diet for that. Yeah, right?
Sorry, little fella.
Yeah. Sorry.
Not going to do it.
I'm going to use the same steak knife I'm going to use for my dinner.
Nicely done.
Anyway, I have been looking and trying to get an initial, because you have to have an initial consult with these doctors. And this is even after I've now switched jobs and switched insurance. So I'm looking through the insurance system to find it. And I'm not going to lie, my insurance now is better than it was.
Good.
It's still really hard. And it's like 4 months out before you can go see the doctor.
That is crazy. And I'm sure it's that way here, but that's mostly because we have a whole lot of elderly people.
Right.
There, it's because you have such an influx. People
we don't have enough
into
doctors.
The area.
Yeah. And I shouldn't complain. 4 months is still a lot less than other socialized medicine places out there for certain things. So, it is what it is. There are definitely benefits. Don't get me wrong, benefits to the socialization of medicine, but there's benefits to our thing as well. I mean, that's not the argument I'm trying to make. I'm just saying 4 months is still a very short period of time to see a general practicing medical professional.
Yeah. But we're not necessarily used to it.
No, because it hasn't been that way
quicker.
Especially growing up the way I did when I had a stepfather who was a doctor and all of his friends were doctors. You have any medical problem, you go in the same day and get seen. And it's not going into the ER. You're just going to someone's house so they can have cocktails afterwards.
Nice.
Thanks. Just throw it out there. Or go to the golf course and get examined and then go play the 18 holes.
Yes. Well, that's that is part of the program. Unfortunately, the long wait.
Yeah.
I tried to get a dentist, went to a place and they got me in relatively quickly, and they were. I didn't like them. They were kind of dinks.
That's too bad. No wonder you got in so quickly.
Well, yeah, exactly. No wonder they had openings. Oh, yeah, we had a cancellation. We had 16 cancellations today. Where would you like? Yeah, should have been a sign. And ended up calling a place, and they said it doesn't matter what time of the year, but it was like an 8-month to a year lead time.
Oh,
we can get you in April of 2020, which is great because by now I would have been in to have some of my teeth fixed. Yeah, ignore your teeth and they'll go away. And I said, nope, but thanks anyway, and hung up and called this other place where I magically got in 2 months. But yeah, as far as doctors go and specialists, a urologist that I have dealt with recently, he was 6 months out. I'm like, oh, boy, I'm glad it's not an emergency because holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what sort of a urology, thankfully. I don't have any of those emergencies currently. That might change tomorrow, but
that depends.
In continents like Asia, that's okay. What else you got? What else?
Yeah. There was so there is a really good Vanderbilt. It's the system, the big system here. There's a Vanderbilt walk-in clinic near our house here, and they're actually really good. That's where I went when I wanted to get my hernia checked out. And once you get into that, they were quick. Like they said, "Yep, you have a hernia. We'll set you up." And then it wasn't even a week. was 3 days later, I had a consult with whoever was doing my surgery.
Mhm.
And then a week later, I was in surgery.
Well, something like that, though, was it more of an emergency?
I
thing?
guess so. I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
I'd lived with it for many years. So
Sure.
it was, I don't know.
Didn't used to be an emergency.
No, I didn't think it was emergency. I guess they thought it was.
Yeah, that may drive some of it. And I've got a buddy who's suddenly found some Merkel cell cancer, skin cancer, and that's
Megan?
what killed Jimmy Buffett.
Really?
If you're a Jimmy Buffett fan. So pretty scary, but they've managed to stay ahead of it, and he seems to be doing pretty well.
That's good.
But yeah, it's just a little scary, and stuff like that, sneaks up, but he was able to get from his GP to the cancer doctor to surgery within, I want to say 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. So yeah, it was a good thing, but it was kind of a let's hurry up and get this knocked out. Now he's back in radiation for another one they found, but smaller. So he's going to be dealing with that crap, I think, for a while.
Methylene blue.
Methylene blue. You said something about that. It's like
that's what my dad's doing.
Yeah. And tell me about that.
I have no idea about it. I didn't look it up too much. I looked up a little bit of it, and they say it's supposed to be really good to stave off cancer.
What color is it?
Blue.
What?
I know. I don't know. I honestly don't know much about it. I'm just throwing that out there.
And it's like a proactive thing
I
against cancer?
No, I think it's if you have it, it's I don't know. You look it up. I did, like I said, I did look it up and I read about it, but I've since forgotten. I just know it's working for him, and so far he hasn't. Every blood test he's had since he had his surgery has come back negative. So,
awesome,
yeah,
wonderful.
But you missed my. You said Merkel,
Mm-hmm.
and you missed my Meghan reference.
Markle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I have to tell you that on that, and I'll react to your silly joke here in a second. There it is. Megyn Kelly did a really funny, like a takeoff on Meghan Markle's show on TV. Holy heck, was that funny?
Really?
Oh my gosh. And and I haven't seen it, so I'm just guessing that she does these stupid things and Megan's making fun of her, and it's worth seeing. So if you have a moment to catch that on YouTube.
Do you think, okay. I was just going to ask, is it on YouTube?
Doing an impression of Meghan Markle. I think it probably is. I'm not positive.
Okay.
Anyway,
look.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I actually sat and watched. Lisa is a Megyn Kelly fan, so she listens to her on her walks, and who else? Well,
man, she must take long walks.
She has been doing almost between 4 and 5 miles a day.
Wow, good for her.
I need to do that really well.
Well, I was saying, obviously she is walking a lot longer, because if she's able to go through a Megyn Kelly episode and a PoddiMouths episode.
Yeah, she walks for 8 weeks. Well, PoddiMouths, stretch it out. Lisa's trying to walk. Yeah, we do that sometimes.
That's the whole reason. It's both for Lisa and for Bill.
Yes, it's for Bill too.
We are the
Bill,
walking.
Come on, Bill, keep going, man. See,
come on,
you got to be
do
encouraging.
One more step. You should see. Speaking of,
I was doing really good until Nick said one more step, and then I fell.
Yeah, well, we'll have to get him a Tesla, and he'll figure out that joke.
Did you see the story about Tesla and their new? It's called ORD or D. I don't. What the heck is the DTR? I don't remember what the name of the. It's like a subscription service where, and I did not read too deeply into it, so forgive me, but the car is self-driving. It's truly self-driving. It's not just, lane control and all of that. We've heard about that with Teslas before, but this will actually do you can summon it. It'll come to you like many before. But there's a story that one guy told on X. His mother, who's 91, still lives in her own home, but she was not driving well and knew that was a problem. She got a Tesla 3 Series, and she comes and picks her up, takes her to the store, takes her to church. She doesn't drive it. And she plugs it in at night, and just a 110 outlet. Every morning it's 80% charged. She's ready to go wherever she wants to go. And it does all of the driving. It's a subscription service that runs like $100 a month or something like that. And some guy's complaining, oh, I see, it's already installed on the car and they have to pay for it. And I said, yeah, it's kind of like a Sirius satellite radio, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's already built in. But it's kind of cool for this lady to
it
be
is
able to
very
do
cool,
that.
but it also is very scary. If we want to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole,
Sure.
All the new cars that have these connected services, all 3 of mine included, honestly, we don't necessarily buy the car anymore. You can buy the car.
Mm-hmm.
It can be you buying the hunk of metal, but if the manufacturer wanted to, they could literally just flip a switch and shut that car down.
Oh, no doubt.
And it's parked.
They threatened about that in California because they didn't want people charging their EVs. Hey, we want you to all own one, but we can't afford to charge it all at once. So sorry. Yeah, genius.
And that's a lot. There's a lot of power there because
I agree.
I mean, I think I had this conversation via Instagram with Jen.
You're married to her. Why did you go on Instagram?
Well, I said we send stuff back and forth that it's really cool, but
of course.
We were talking about something else and it had to do with technology. And I said, it was a conspiracy theory that she sent me. And I said that, the one she sent was true, but the conspiracy theory around it was something where it's a little, I don't think that's necessarily accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it is, folks, but I just remember that feeling. But I finished the conversation with, just like any other technology, there are good aspects. I don't think the invention of the technology necessarily was intended for nefarious reasons. Mm-hmm. They were all done to better society.
That way. Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't mean it can't be used that way.
Yep.
Nuclear power is a good example.
Or nuclear power, which is the correct way to say it.
Whatever.
No.
Buzz off.
No.
Buzz off.
Nuclear. Which is, by the way, the same way George Bush said it. Here's my rule. If you have your finger on a button that can launch nuclear weapons, you should be able to say nuclear. Not you. I'm talking about George Bush.
Whatever.
Yes. Nuclear, not nuclear.
You're not thinking strategery.
Which takes me right back instantly to Bugs Bunny. ripping his mask was rabbit mask. He's in the ring with some big, huge guy. And he goes, the guy's got him in a headlock. And the guy thought he ripped his pants, and he stands up. And yeah, you'll have to watch for the rest. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I don't.
Spoiler alert.
Wow.
He says,
that's just
strategery.
Great. Strategery.
All right. I'm sorry.
I forgot what I was saying now.
I know. Damn it. My mistake.
Damn rabbit holes, literally.
Yeah, literally rabbit hole. Yes. Well played. See? And that was probably better than where we were going.
Yeah, probably not. Mine was really interesting. Now, anyway, good technology, bad people.
Yep.
Bad people will do bad things with good technology.
Absolutely right.
It doesn't matter what it is. The connected car is a good example of that. We now are able to start our cars from our phones. We can check. I get an email if something's wrong with the car, and instead of trying to guess,
I like that.
And those are really cool things.
Yep.
But it gives the OEM, and this is coming from two people that have worked in and around OEMs. The OEMs could quite literally just hit a button and shut everything down.
Well, that's been for years now. Look at OnStar. OnStar has been out since the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
And OnStar has always been able to shut down any vehicle just like that. If it's installed, they can shut it down. And so, and you can, it equates in a couple of different ways. It's like a diesel trucks these days, semis typically is what I think of. They have to use this DEF fuel, it's called.
Yeah, DEF. Yeah.
And which is, it's such a BS thing because diesel engines are not nearly as dirty for the environment as most people think. And I'm not going to say
not
as nice, especially these days.
Unleaded fuel.
Yeah. But point is not as bad as, but they have to come out with this DEF crap, which makes it a real circus. If you do not replace the DEF, which is supposed to help the environment, BS, then it will start, you won't be able to drive the truck anymore. So if you're trying to earn a living with a semi-tractor, and it will just slow it down to 5 miles an hour or some crap until you spend the money on DEF. So to avoid that, you have to buy a truck that's, I want to say 2005-ish is the year. And wow, yeah, it's kind of akin to if there were an EMP attack.
Yeah.
There's nothing new in the last probably 40 years or 50 that would not be impacted and unable to drive from an EMP attack, unless you have an old, like I don't know why it's in my head, an old Blazer, that's like a 1970 something Blazer. Or
I saw someone who was building a house and they were a prepper. And they built their garage as a Faraday cage. So when the garage door closes, nothing will happen to their cars.
Of course, yes. But in the case of an EMP, as soon as you bring it out of the garage, it can't connect to anything. And phones don't work and all of that, of course. But I get the idea. I actually have a Faraday bag. But it's like this size. It's not big, but it'll fit my cell phone. And I'll tell you what, if you're not sure, you can power this down and you can still be detected with your cell phone unless you put it inside a Faraday bag. And you know what? I don't know if that's ever going to be a thing, but I kind of like knowing that if I didn't want to be tracked and traced, in that case, you might as well put a chip in people. Because if you're carrying this around and you're using it for everything, or if it's just with you in your vehicle, that's another
good example. To your point. Because let's look at it. Why did they build that tracking system in? Well, if you get lost, they have a way to find you, just like OnStar. It was built. And I know there's people listening, or one person in particular. He's smiling right now because he knows who I'm talking about.
Wait, that's me.
He might think that it was developed for nefarious reasons, but I want to see the good in everybody and think that the reason certain things were invented and developed were for good reasons. But there's obviously with great power
bad
comes
actors.
Great responsibility.
Yes, there are bad actors out there always.
There are bad
actors. And it's not even, I wish it were just the responsibility. It really is. And look, I'm not going to go all biblical, but it's good and evil. It's been since the beginning of time. There are good and evil. And you can see it. Somebody said something, the AMA, the American Medical Association, said, and I don't think they're going to like this, but I don't care. They have something in their publication that says it's okay to engage in sexual surgeries with kids as young as 2 years old. Look, if you're confused about your sexuality at 2 years old, what a shock. It's the parents who are confused. And if that stuff and if it's taken away from parents, that the schools can make, not at 2 years old, but the schools can make these decisions. And the AMA says as young as 2, that's perfectly fine. Oh my gosh, that good and evil, that's personified.
I'm not going to get into the whys or the specific conversations that led me to this, but I told Peyton the other day, and I mean it, and Jen and I 100% agree, and she's on the same page. I would not want to be a kid today. I would not want to be a teenager in this day and age. And I'm sure everyone has said that of their children based on their life. I'm sure my parents said that about my generation. I would not want to go to school. I would not want to be in this society. I'm sure I would survive because, everyone survives, but oh my goodness, compared to how I grew up and compared to the things that I experienced.
Agreed.
I don't know. No,
the good part is, and we thought of this with our son when he was, so 20 years ago 20 years ago when he was Peyton's age. We thought of that, but the good part is they don't know any different. So they don't have the comparison that we do, where we can say, yeah, we used to run through the neighborhood and you just don't be late for dinner, because then your mom will use your middle name when she's calling you from down the block with a bullhorn. But I mean, that stuff was, in hindsight, was awesome. But these kids today are sponges, and they're smart in so many ways that we weren't, and maybe dumb in some too.
So many ways that we weren't.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. Exactly. So anyway, I understand the concern, but especially Peyton, she's very well adjusted. And
well, let's not go that far.
Well, she is. She's very smart, which she obviously takes after her mother.
Exactly.
But anyway,
she can say nuclear.
You said it though.
Whatever.
See, I'm so proud of you.
I want to finish out that conversation and the podcast with this.
Okay.
Yesterday, one of my coworkers through Teams was saying, everyone enjoy their weekend. Happy Friday at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent a picture. I guess she either lives or is staying near a golf course. And she shared a picture of a golf course with the cart path that was underwater.
Oh.
And talking about carts that were going through it and stuff like that. And I wrote back, I will neither confirm or deny that I was one of those teenagers who would be doing golf cart water sports when I was working at a golf course as a teenager. And I finished that out, and this is I think the best part of that whole thing. I finished that out saying, thank God cell phone cameras didn't exist when I was a teenager.
Well, isn't that the truth? I've heard that before, and that is accurate.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know.
I can neither confirm or deny. And on that note, folks.
That's a good note, man.
I think that's a great note. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Head up to PoddiMouths.com, see all of our past episodes, check out our merch store, and all of the partners of the podcast. Podcast partners.
POTP.
I need to change it now. Podcast partners,
that's
including good friend John Quaddy and the Motorhead Chef.
I just put up a new episode earlier this week. How about that?
Fantastic. I'll have to go check it out.
You better.
I haven't checked out a couple in a while. I haven't been watching a lot of TV. I've been busy.
Just
you know how busy
your
I've
job.
been.
Come on.
I don't want to do that. I like my job. I love my job,
good.
actually.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk to you again soon, folks. See ya.
See ya.